Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. It is good to have you here. Today, I thought I would relive the past a little bit, unfortunately, and talk a little bit about sort of how my marriage affected my weight loss, or lack thereof, for a better term, and why I think it's really important to have people around you that are supportive of you. Sometimes I think it's better to surround yourself with people that say nothing, more so than people that have a strong opinion about what you're doing. I have said in previous videos, I'm 32, but don't tell anyone. And when I was 22, I met this guy at a party, and he asked me on a date, and we went out for like Mexican food and margaritas, had a really good time, 126, dated, kind of off and on for about 4 years, and then got married because I thought that's what you were supposed to do after you dated for 4 years, even though I think I knew in my gut that I was settling and I was still like going through some weird stuff at the time, and really thought like, well, he loves me, so what if I don't find anyone else that's ever gonna love me, so this is fine, like, it could be worse. Like, that was my kind of mindset, which is so sad, and I can't believe that I was in a place like that at one point, because now I'd almost rather be alone than ever feel like I'm settling or tolerating something in someone that I don't like. How this sort of relationship and stuff affected my weight loss. So one of the first things is that I was probably like 270 when we met, so I was bigger. And it became like common knowledge that he was into bigger girls, which I sort of always kind of had a problem with, that I was like, I don't know, like, I tend to like to believe that people like people for who they are, not because they like fit into this little box of what they're attracted to, but it's like, I realize everyone's attracted to whatever it is they're attracted to. You know, I tend to be more attracted to guys that have facial hair than guys that don't, but I would never not hang out with someone that doesn't have facial hair just because of that fact. But he was the kind of person that, like, even if a girl was super cute, if she wasn't, like, of a certain weight, he was not interested in any way. Once I knew that information, and, like, considering that I have tried to lose weight and failed for so many years of my life, it always kind of stuck in the back of my mind that if I was successful losing weight, he wasn't gonna like me anymore because he wouldn't find me attractive, because he only likes people that fit into this, like, little box. That was something that always sort of mentally, like, worked against me, I feel like, throughout the years that we were together. We ended up dating for 4 years, being married for 3, and then I asked him for a divorce after that time, and we went our separate ways, and I've been single for about 2 years now. Another thing that, like, should have kind of been a red flag, so I've talked previously about getting lap band surgery. He didn't come with me to the consultation. He refused to take the day off work when I got the surgery. So he literally dropped me off at the hospital, and my friend Brandy, who's been in some videos with me before, like, picked me up from the hospital because he, like, wouldn't stay. Which now, I mean, at the time it really pissed me off, but even now I'm like, dude, that's so fucked up. Like, if some of my friends had surgery, like, I would fucking fly to wherever they are and, like, sit there. But he's a horrible person, and I'm not. Well, kind of horrible, but, you know, whatever. Anyways, and I think part of that was because he really didn't want me to get the surgery, because I think he thought that I was gonna, like, shoo down to nothing, and, like, that wouldn't benefit him in any way. Really, like, the whole relationship, you know, I felt like, in a way, he kind of, whether consciously or unconsciously, sabotaged me, because anytime I was like, I'm gonna try to do this, it would always be like, let's go out to dinner, or let's get pizza, or, you know, you can have just this one time, or whatever. And it was definitely not I mean, especially when I was like in the early stages of trying to lose weight, like I'm not strong enough to like resist stuff like that. It was just very difficult for me to have any success whatsoever in losing weight. And I think, I mean, I don't want to put it all on him, absolutely, because I, you know, was already heavy when we met, but throughout the course of our relationship, I gained another 30 pounds. And, you know, he would always say things like, you're so beautiful, you're so perfect, like, you don't need to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. And he just didn't get that I wanted to. And not because I felt ugly or, you know, uncomfortable. It's like, because when I'm laying down in bed and I try to sit up in bed, it's fucking hard. So, like, you know, I don't want it to be hard. Like, it shouldn't be hard to go from sitting on the floor to getting off of the floor. And it was. And I don't think he realized that I wanted to lose weight so those things wouldn't be hard. Like, I didn't want to have to say no every time my friends were like, we're going hiking or we're doing some kind of physical activity, and I would have to say no because I felt like I would slow everyone down and I couldn't keep up. And he just was all about, like, I'm into this body type and I'm glad you have this body and, you know, blah, blah, blah. In hindsight, it's like, one, I wouldn't date someone like that, like, ever again. But it's like, in hindsight, you know, I wish I had been like, fuck off. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and if you love me, then great, but if you just only love the shell that I'm in, then, like, we're gonna have a problem. And I was also way more insecure, you know, those days, and, like, really lived for, like, validation, from him, you know, because I was overweight. And I think that's part of the reason, why I, like, never felt ugly, is because he was constantly feeding me, like, you're so beautiful, you're so beautiful, you're so great. And, like, I did get attention, you know, from other guys when I went out and stuff. So it wasn't, like, just from him, but, you know, I just feel like I was not successful in losing weight. And if I was still married, I'm, like, 100% sure that I would still, you know, weigh 290 or more, you know, and that's kind of scary to think about because my life has changed so much, you know, in the past 2.5 years, that I can't even imagine what it would be like. I was so unhappy, and, you know, it's really kind of depressing when I think about it, like, you know, how sort of sad I was, and I didn't even realize it because I didn't know what it was like to be happy. And now I'm single and I've met some really great people in the last couple of years, and I'm really happy. And there's nothing that I miss about my life from a couple of years, you know, 7 years of my life. There's nothing that I miss about that. And so I think, you know, if you have someone in your life that's, you know, kind of on the back burner, like, trying to sabotage whether they realize it or not, like, don't do what I did and just kind of feed into that. Like, stick up for yourself if, you know, you have these goals, and tell them how important it is to you. And they might not get it, and you might have to cut them out of your life. Or, you know, if it's your significant other, then you may have to sit them down and be like, listen, like, I'm not fucking around. Like, this isn't a joke to me. I'm serious about losing weight, and I need you to be on my team because this is not an easy process. And the only way that I'm going to have success doing it is if you're next to me. And, you know, those conversations, I realize, aren't easy to have, but, you know, I think if you want to be successful and, you know, someone in your life is a roadblock, then that's something that you need to address. If you guys have been in relationships kind of like mine, where it's like you felt like you couldn't change because, you know, the other person wouldn't like you as much anymore, let me know. Not that I hope it's more of a common thing, but I really hope, like, I'm not the only one that kind of dealt with that. Yeah, let's talk about it.